Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we're reviewing Fargo. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Hit it, Russ.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Gabe with me. Your first episode. How we doing today, man?
Yep, I'm good. Excited to get into the movie.
So, the 1996 poll winner was Fargo, and as soon as it won, I know how much I know how you feel about this film.
Yeah.
So, I was like, you know what? Let's see if we can, get Gabe back into the Lions.
Yep.
Talk about some Fargo, So, that's what we're going to do. Director-wise, we've got Joel Coen, who directed it, but it is written by the Coen brothers. Just two guys that know what they're doing when it comes to making movies. Cast-wise, we got Frances McDormand, who won Best Actress for this film. It also won Best Screenplay at the Oscars. So, once again, going back to the brothers. We've got William H. Macy, who every time I watch a movie, I wonder what they saw in him to make him Frank Gallagher, because he's always just that clean-cut guy in every movie you watch of his. And then, you've got Steve Buscemi, you've got Peter Stormare, you've got John Carroll Lynch, who's in it very minimally, but, he's iconic.
Delivers,
so
yeah.
Gotta mention, But we'll start with the good, and this is another one of those movies where we're going to stick here for a little while. There's just a lot in this category. But where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, starting with the good, that's absolutely right, because the whole time I was watching it, I was, trying to pick out something that I really didn't like, but I really struggled the whole time.
Yeah.
There's, one scene, and we can talk about it later, that I was like, I could do without this, but other than that, Steve Buscemi, crushed it the whole movie.
Yep.
William H. Macy was very good as, he's a cleaner-cut guy, but he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He, gets his wife kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then the Coen brothers. I love all their films of theirs I've seen. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou is another one of my favorite. Got a couple other ones you want to remind me of?
Blood Simple.
Blood Simple is
The
very
Big
good. You put me
Lebowski.
on that. Yeah, The Big Lebowski's.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, so that No Country for Old Men, I was really deciding if I like that or Fargo better, but I think I just like the oddness. They always have odd characters
Yeah, they
and
do.
an odd storyline. No Country for Old Men's a little bit more buttoned up, so I think I
Yeah.
like Fargo just a little bit more because
Yeah.
I like the quirkiness.
And it's not even just the bad. Obviously we have two goons who are kind of just dummies. But you mentioned William H. Macy's kind of a jackass, but he thinks he's doing the right thing, I guess. And then even Frances McDormand. I mean, she's probably the most grounded character, but she's still got her quirks, and she's obviously anticipating her baby in this one while investigating this case. And I love the accents, the darn tootin' and
and that's,
you betcha.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh jeez.
But that's what I mean. That accent alone just makes them all quirky in a way, and it just makes them fun. But yeah, this is definitely a movie that has a heavy subject matter, but somehow still feels you can relate to it somehow.
It's so deadpan and so messed up, but at the same time you're just enjoying everything
it's
you're
comforting,
watching.
right?
Yeah.
The setting is something I've always loved about this movie. I just found out today that a lot of the snow was fake.
Really?
So Minnesota, where they were filming this, and where the Coen brothers are from, which I just found out, usually gets 5 to 7 feet of snow a year. And apparently, when they were filming this, it was the second hottest winter in Minnesota history. And so a lot of the snow was ice chip machine that the set design crew would have to spread out. So there's one scene where you see a parking lot covered in snow. If you look back far enough, the parking lot doesn't have snow on it.
Okay.
And so for a movie that when you think Fargo, you think snow.
Yeah.
A lot of it's not real, which is kind of cool.
I was going to say another thing is I know that CGI and technology's progressed so much, but this movie just obviously was made in the 90s. It just looks so good. Everything's
very practical.
real. Yep.
Yeah,
Even
that
gore.
I mean, even one of my favorite scenes, and I'm jumping way ahead because this is towards the end, but the wood chipper scene, the leg sticking out of the wood chipper, that all looks believable.
I wish that it was my first time watching it again, because when she's walking around the corner, you're what's that noise?
Yeah.
And then you just see all the blood, and he's just shoving his partner down in the wood chipper. Yeah, that's so great.
Yeah, that's a good twist. Fun little, what?
Yeah, and Frances McDormand does do a really good job, and they use her a couple times. Another movie there's Burn After Reading.
Yep.
It's so good, and all the characters are not just like Fargo, but they're weird and kind of idiotic, just trying to do their own thing and just end up messing up.
Yeah.
And that's
They use her in their first movie, Blood Simple.
Yeah.
I love her in Blood. I love Blood Simple all around. I think it's a very underappreciated film. But yeah, in this one, you can definitely see why she took home an Academy Award. And same with the screenplay. I mean, it's like you said, it's a very methodical, thought out film, but you still feel comfort by it. And I think that's what makes it a movie that just anybody that usually watches it, they have a good time with it. Because the Coen brothers are good at making movies, that's for sure.
Yeah, going to like the opening and to get back into like William H. Macy's weird character, even like Steve Buscemi and his other goon.
Yeah.
They're like looking at him like, "You want us to do what?" And he's like even trying to talk him out, and then he's, "Oh, never mind. Just tell us what he wants to do."
Yeah.
Like it's just such an odd premise.
What, half of the $80,000 ransom and the car?
Yeah.
Just kidnap my wife for that. But honestly, like I remember the first time I watched this movie because I didn't really know a lot about it. I kind of went into it blind, and I remember when he's like meeting with them, like, oh, that's a cool premise, like, you know, steal the money and then split the ransom, and it's, you know, no harm, no foul. And then when they kill the cop, I'm like, oh shit, like where do you go from here? Yeah. And then they chase down the two bystanders, which, by the way, the one that was driving, he did something else on the movie set. I think he might have done set design.
Okay.
But yeah, it's cool too because if you watch the credits, I noticed it today, like it's not his name. It says Man and Field, and it's like a logo, and apparently it stands for Prince or something like that. Oh, yeah, I was like, that's not a name. But so that was cool. But I remember watching that scene, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, it just takes off. Steve Buscemi, oh, daddy. Yeah. Oh, daddy. He did really good in this whole movie. Yeah. And that scene when they're driving the 4 hours to the Twin Cities, and you're like, what was the last word you said in the last 4 hours? He's like, I can play that game. He just keeps talking.
I love a lot of the scenes where we just get the goons.
Yeah.
Because it's just Steve Buscemi talking.
Yeah. Two totally opposite messed up criminals.
Talking about pancakes one time.
Steve Buscemi thinks he's like the smarter criminal, but clearly this other guy's harder because he just grabs the cop immediately and shoots him in the head without hesitation.
Yeah. Those scenes are a lot of fun. I love the scene where we're getting the trade of ransom, where her dad is like, Wade has to do it, and then he shoots him, and then he shoots Steve Buscemi in the face, and then he obviously kills him. But that scene's hilarious too, with you know how he reacted to the gunshot to the face. And
kind of forgotten character is Scotty. I even forgot about him until I watched this movie again. I'm like, oh, they got a son. And even Steve Buscemi's like, whenever his father-in-law's accountant walks out, Stan Grossman, he's like, what are you going to do about Scotty? And William H. Macy's, oh, Scotty. He forgets about his own son after he gets his wife kidnapped. So, like, Scotty really just kind of gets the most screwed over in this whole movie because he loses his grandpa, his mother, his dad.
Yeah. You're that's actually spot on. He kind of loses it all. And
he's barely in the movie.
Swept
just
under the rug. Yep. You know? But, no, it's a really wild ride. It's a fun one. I mean, I don't even know what you would categorize or genreize this movie as. It's definitely got like crime thriller written all over it, but it's like you said, it makes you laugh.
Yeah,
it's just a good time to watch, which is weird to say about something as heavy as the subject matter is here.
Yeah, pretty messed up stuff happens, but you're enjoying it the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Most of the performances, if not all of them, are just stellar. The direction's fantastic. The writing's great. Great cinematography. It's just, once again, like I said, this is a movie that you think of and you relate to cars in the snow, and you think about that. But that final scene too, I mean, it's the icing on the cake type of scene. Like just seeing him, and then he throws the log at her and at Marge, and then tries to run for it before getting shot. And then you have like a little ending that's like lighthearted, where he's like, I got my Mallard painting on the 3-cent postage stamp.
Norm got the 3 cent.
Yeah, she's like, and she kind of eases his blow, and then they live on happily.
2 more months till their baby.
Yeah.
So they kind of make it to where that was like everyday life for Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
She was the smartest cop. I mean, her and her partner go out there, and she immediately knows what happened to the car. And her partner, I forget what he didn't pick up, but it was something like pretty obvious. So, kind of establish her as a good cop right away, which I liked. Just not that she was just there. She was a good cop doing her job and just got mixed up in all that.
Yeah. Something that I think I noticed a little more on this watch was I did enjoy the music more.
Yeah.
I think it has a good soundtrack, good score. I enjoyed it a little more this go around. You were kind of talking about, it's between this and No Country. For me, it's always been between this and The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, that's fair. They have so many good movies. I
know. I lean Big Lebowski. I mean,
yeah.
I want to be the dude. So
yeah,
but this is up there though. This is a damn good movie.
That's another one. Like, there's really no complaints from The Big Lebowski and No Country for Old Men. Even Burn After Reading, I think, is really good. And watching all four of those, I don't even know how you'd pick it's honestly just preference. Like, they're all just great films.
Yeah. That's the dream, man. To make that many movies that, like, you can't pick a favorite, Like, Fincher's another one that I have talked about on this channel a few times. Obviously, last week I talked about him because Seven won. But, like, when you're thinking, like, Seven, Zodiac, Gone Girl, Social Network, how do you pick a favorite?
You bringing up...
Coen Brothers another one like that.
Yeah, you bringing up Zodiac reminds me that Norm is the Zodiac killer. And he's in this movie just painting his mallards.
Some of us like to think he is.
Yeah.
His real person was never found guilty, but he did die and the letters were stopped being sent. So.
And when he went to prison.
Yeah, you tell me he's not the Zodiac killer, but yeah, man, John Carroll Lynch is the man.
Yeah, he's such a menacing character in Zodiac.
He's also another movie whenever I think of him, I think of his Crazy Stupid Love. He's he's the babysitter's dad. Yeah. He goes to kick. I almost said Michael Scott. Steve Carell.
Steve Carell,
He goes to kick his ass because
he doesn't even know about the pictures.
Yeah, John Carroll Lynch, man, underrated.
His
stamp got picked.
Yeah, that was good for him. The mallard painting did look really good, and he's a good husband. Margie, you gotta eat your breakfast. You gotta get a breakfast.
Yeah,
you gotta get a breakfast.
He is a good dude.
Yeah, she even told him, "You stay in bed." No, you gotta get your breakfast. Mm-hmm. Then he had to go jump the prowler after that. Exactly. Just a good Midwest couple right there.
Yeah, that's what you want in life.
Yeah, I also love movies that remind me of the Midwest just because we live here, I guess.
Yeah.
But that scene when they're getting the buffet, I'm like, oh, that's all comfort food right there.
Yeah, going to Golden Corral, calling Ori's. Yeah. No, like I said, it is a comfort film at the end of the day, and I think the Coen Brothers, all of their movies are kind of comfort films for me. I mean, I watch The Big Lebowski at least once a year, and every time I do, it's like I'm usually, laying down, covered up, got a pillow, and I stay up for the entirety of it. But
it's they somehow just get a light mood through everything they put on the screen.
I was gonna say all of these movies we talked about are heavy subject matter. They're all kind of crime thrillers. Yeah. But they just they leave their charm on it in a way, and it's what makes them such good directors. It's definitely their touch too. You can tell. Yeah. It's theirs.
Yep.
And that's the Coen Brothers. When I say that, they just the way they make their movies, it's heavy subject with quirks for sure.
Always odd characters.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt in Burn After Reading was so weird, but so good. He's another idiot. They like playing on stupidity too, quirky, stupid people. But the one scene we talked about this a little bit before we started that I could have done without was just the Mike scene. Whenever she's in the Twin Cities and she goes to dinner with Mike.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I'm thinking back on it. It was just funny, though. It didn't add to the story, but it was a funny scene because then she gets the call after and she learns that his wife didn't die of leukemia. He was just a psych patient living with his parents.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
He's there for a long Yeah. Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'.
Yeah, have you seen the series?
So I watched the second and third season, which is funny because everybody says the first season's the best because Billy Bob's in it and he's really good at deadpan. But that's actually why I went back and watched the movie, is because the second and third season were really, really good.
Okay. I haven't seen the series, but I've heard good things. But I've thought about doing it just because of how much I enjoy this movie.
You should. And they're not really connected, but Carrie Coon's a cop in one of them. And then Ewan McGregor actually plays twins in one of them.
Oh, nice.
And so...
Carrie Coon's got connections to where we, where we abide.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's a damn good movie.
It just keeps going too. It doesn't really slow. I mean, it's not a fast-paced movie, but
no, it
very
remains
well the same.
Yeah, it's very well paced. You never feel bored.
No.
Which And movies this genre, I feel like, is something you have to fight when you're a director and writer. And the Coen brothers have always just done a good job at making their movies just never... You never get bored with most of the movies we've named today. I like... They're on that list where I'm buckled in from 0.00 to the end of the credits.
Yeah, like all the margin norm scenes are very...
Yeah.
Just eating lunch or eating breakfast, waking up. You could get very bored with that, but...
They fit. They
do very good.
And it goes into, like, once I said again, it's just their touch. You know? Like, without those scenes, it doesn't make a Coen Brothers movie what it is, you know what I mean? Definitely got to have them. Got to have Steve Buscemi.
He is so good in this movie. And I feel like I just forgot how good it was, but I was watching it, and he's just so good the whole time. It's shot in the face. He comes in. Yeah. He's trying to give the guy the 80K. He's like, I'm taking the car. You take my truck. It's like, I'm taking the car. Yeah. And he just gets axed.
That's also a good scene. Yeah, that's what leads to it.
Down. That criminal was his partner.
They're both in The Big Lebowski. Stormare is one of the goons, and Buscemi's obviously.
Yeah, Donnie.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Well, he's not. Is he in the movie?
So my uncle said he just recently watched it and said that that's a hoax. There's like they acknowledge Donnie multiple times. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it since I've heard, so maybe we'll.
I thought I saw a video with Jeff Bridges saying...
He was the one that said it.
I was about to say, he's the one that was like...
But my uncle, who is a big Lebowski fan, like, that will probably be my 98 poll, and I already told him if it wins, like, you're my guy.
Yeah.
He said that he watched it after I told him Jeff Bridges said that, and he said, no, it's not, there's no way. So I have to watch it for myself. I fully believe my uncle wouldn't lie to me, and I know how much he loves that movie. But yeah, I mean... It's once again, the Coen brothers like to do that. They like to reuse. Yeah, I mean, like we've already mentioned Frances McDormand a few times, but Buscemi and Stormare are in two of my favorite movies of theirs.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anything else in the good?
I mean, the whole movie. Wade and Stan Grossman, they were great characters too.
I love the scene where he's like, where they have their meeting.
Yeah.
And he's, we're not a bank.
We're not a bank. They say it a couple
10%,
times.
I don't want a finder's fee.
At that point, he could have just took the finder's fee. And the other part, like, they like kind of subtly put them, not subtly, but like it's not a huge plot point. It's why he got into all the trouble is he's like selling cars that he's not actually selling. Yeah. The guy's like, I need
William H. Macy, like... I'll say he's really good at playing a character who is kind of a dirtbag, but you feel bad for.
Yeah.
Because that's the epitome of Frank Gallagher. I mean, he's just... he's dirt in that entire series. But you somehow feel bad for Frank a lot of the time. But in this one, like, William H. Macy had his wife kidnapped. He's scamming the car system. But then at the same time, you're like, man, you kind of feel bad for him in a way. You know what I mean?
Also, did he put Wade in his trunk? Because when he pulls up to the parking lot, he just pops his trunk, and then it cuts to him like pulling out of the parking lot, and he sees that the attendant was shot. Oh. I think he just took Wade from that parking deck to not get in more trouble, but
maybe
they're gonna find him in his trunk. They found him at that hotel, and he's screaming, squirming.
Yeah,
that was. Everything is so good.
William H. Macy's an underrated actor.
Yeah, I feel like he's not in a ton of like mainstream stuff, but
yeah, I mean,
besides Shameless,
I was gonna say Shameless is probably his biggest role. But when it comes to movies, like the three that I've always remembered him from most of all, I guess, would be this, Jurassic Park 3, and then very supporting role, but I love him in Boogie Nights.
Okay, I haven't seen that. We watched that in high school like once, but I haven't seen that in a while.
Very good PTA movie. He's just like getting cheated on the whole movie. But those are like the three movies. Like, there's probably bigger roles he's been in, but those are the three that like come to my mind when I think William H. Macy.
I think he's just got like a vulnerable face that you just want to feel bad for him. But yeah, this whole
even in Jurassic Park 3, like he lied to get Alan Grant there, but then you're like, oh, he's missing his son. Like, he's really just. Like you said, it's something about the face. I feel like he's like kind of looks like a puppy, you know.
Yeah, there's like not a casting miss. You didn't mean to get your wife kidnapped.
Yeah,
you just need some help. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. There's really not. I think the casting is top notch, and that's usually the case. We've already mentioned it with the Coen Brothers movie. That's if you're a director. I've always thought that, like, if I get to direct movies, I'm gonna do the same thing. Like, if I fall in love with somebody as far as working with them, why not keep making them your main guys, you know?
Like Tarantino used, rest in peace, Michael Madsen, and like I think he's in 4 of his movies.
Yeah.
Kill Bill and Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, or not Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs.
DiCaprio and everything he does.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything post Goodfellas.
I like the other character I liked was the Shep character that introduced William H. Macy.
Oh, when he goes in there and he's like kicking their ass. Like,
yeah, he's just beating him with the belt.
Yeah,
it's like, you're gonna get me sent back to whatever that prison was. And then when William H. Macy goes to talk to me, he's like, I need to get in contact with those guys. He's like, don't know the other one, don't vouch for him.
Yeah, yep.
And he's the one that ends up being the hardest criminal and kills them all.
It's part of it. Like every scene fits.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies. I don't have anything to talk about in the matter bad. We can forego them if you don't have.
No, my only thing was that one scene with Mike, but then thinking back on it now, it was funny.
It was just comedy.
Yeah.
Well, we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Fargo, and what do you give it out of 10?
I would probably say this is my favorite Coen Brothers movie. I need to rewatch Big Lebowski again because it's great. I remember it as being great. And No Country for Old Men. I do love the quirkiness of this movie, and I like generally lighter movies. No Country for Old Men, I remember being that. We talk about all their movies being light themed, but that movie
was definitely the heaviest one. Yeah, and I mean they've done
you on a happy note.
They've done like tests where like that Anton Chigurh character is like the closest thing the movies has ever seen to a sociopath and a psychopath, and so that movie's definitely the heaviest of the. Yeah, that's where we're like, what would happen if we don't be quirky?
Yeah, none of these people in this movie are funny. Yeah, everybody's serious.
What if we go see? I mean, they won Best Picture, so
yeah, it is a great movie, and I would say that. So I think that movies can be better than other movies, and I can still like them more. So I would say that No Country for Old Men is probably better, but I think that I like Fargo more because I like the Midwest and I like the quirkiness and the silliness and the
just quotable.
Yeah, just characters. In messed up situations, like just a regular cop in North Dakota.
Yeah.
Triple murder on the road. One of them's a cop.
Yeah.
But final rating, I would probably say like I don't believe in perfect movies just because I don't know. There's I guess always room for improvement, but I don't see where. So I would say like a 9.8.
Okay.
Probably like a 9.8.
Okay, that's fair. For me, I don't think it's imperfectly perfect, so I'm going 10 out of 10.
Okay,
I stick to the whole numbers, and I'm just going to round up because for me, it's 10 out of 10. It's a movie that just from start to finish, I'm locked in. It's one when I talk to people about it, I speak very highly of. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything ill to say. It's one I feel confident when I recommend it. It's not one where I'm like, you may or may not like it. I usually am like, you'll like Fargo. Yeah. Great characters with fantastic acting, and just the Coen brothers once again in their element, making movies and making great movies at that, doing what they do.
Even the like small side characters, like Mike did such a great job. He like broke down, and then there's 2 like prostitutes that she interviewed. Real weird looking, weirder than normal. Like they did so good, and they're like, they're both bobbing their head at the same time.
Yeah, dude, it's one of those movies that you could see everybody was in there on their A game when this project was being made. Even set design guys, busting out the ice chipper, make sure the snow looked good.
Driving the car by.
So shout out to them, but it's damn near a perfect movie for me. It's 10 out of 10. Yeah,
the Coen brothers are up there.
Oh, I'd probably safely say they're one of my top 5 when it comes to directors and writers.
Yeah, for me they are.
I mean, I've mentioned Fincher and Spielberg on this channel before. I think this is the first throwback Coen brothers movie I've done on this channel, because we did that new one that came out a couple years ago, or last year maybe. What was it called? Driveway Dolls. I reviewed that on here.
Didn't watch that.
I think it's only one of the brother wrote it and directed. They did it together, but yeah, they're up there too. They're some of my favorite movies are from these guys. So great dudes.
Yep, know what they're doing. Yeah,
but that'll do it for Fargo. Gabe.
Yep, thanks for having me, buddy.
Of course. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go and check out the 1997 poll. It will go up later today, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.